position. And so you don't need to be cross-legged, but it's whatever's comfortable and so that you can breathe fully through your body. So if you find yourself kind of grounded, I want you to bring your shoulders back and focus on, as you breathe in, pulling the breath all the way through your body down to your pelvic floor. So that space between the tailbone and pubic bone. And even if you don't feel it moving down there, I want you to imagine your breath moving all the way through your body. And then as you exhale, releasing all of the air that you need to release, as well as any negative thoughts or anything you want to let go of. So breathing in and out, nice full breaths. And as you're doing these long, smooth breaths, noticing how your body feels and thinking about, we already talked about what we wanted to work on today, but thinking about how you feel in this moment and how you want to feel when we're done with our practice today. I'd like to start with some sounds. And so if you're not used to making sound, you can make it aloud or you can make it silently to yourself, or you can just listen. We're going to inhale the arms up towards the sky, exhale the sound Q to the heart. Q. Inhale the arms out to the side, palms open, exhale ah to the heart. And inhale, scooping up from the earth, the sound Om to the heart. Om. And with your hands over your heart, stating in your mind's eye what your intention is, how you want to feel when we're done with our practice today, and bowing the head to the heart to the earth. Oh, I just love how I feel when I make those sounds. And it really does help me to feel more present. So we're going to start with our tennis balls. And since a number of you talked about legs, what I want you to do, you're going to bend your knees, take your tennis balls and press them in. So you're not lifting up your butt. You're going to press them in and keep the knees bent. And then we're going to move side to side and front to back. So you want to feel, so take your butt to the ground. Yep. And then you want to feel kind of the bone coming in so that we're loosening up those connectors into the pelvis. You're going to keep breathing. Now, as we're doing this, you might find some spots that feel very interestingly, right? You can stay there. I'm going to move my tennis balls out a little bit, start to take my knees over to the side and work into the glutes a little bit more, the sides of the hips. But you're going to move in a way that feels really good to you. Yeah, I can see those faces. Well, some of the faces I can see. All right. And I like to start here, especially like when we talk about low back and legs, because it really starts to help loosen up the muscles. All right, now I can move. Okay, so now we're gonna take those tennis balls out, lean your body forward and press the tennis balls into the low back. And again, bend your knees and move side to side, front to back. Breathing and noticing sensation. Or sometimes it's lack of sensation too. All right. Now we're actually going to come down onto our backs. So I want you to find a safe way to get yourself down onto your back. And you're going to have your strap close by. So get yourself onto your back body. And let's take the left leg up towards the sky to the best of your ability, and no strap at first. We're going to interlace the hands on the back of the thigh. Inhale is going to be here with the leg extended. Exhale, you're going to bend the knee and take it in towards your chest. Relax your head on the ground. Inhale, straighten the leg, press that foot up. Exhale, knee into the chest. And you can make this very gentle or you can make it really active. Right? We're going to keep moving with the breath. Inhale, extend, press up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring that knee into the chest as deeply as you can. One last time. And then as you exhale and bring that knee into the chest, you can use your hand to help you. We're going to take that knee in a circular motion a couple times in each direction. Nice. Now, as you start to feel complete, we'll bring the left foot onto the ground and hug the right knee in towards the chest. And you're noticing what you feel. And then when you're ready, interlacing the hands on the back of the thigh, pressing the foot up towards the ceiling. Inhale is here. Exhale, knee in towards the chest. And you're moving again with your breath. Inhale, extend. Exhale, pull that knee in as close as you can to your chest in a way that you can still breathe and feel good. One more time. And again, when that knee is in towards your chest, you might use your hand to help you take that knee in a circle. So moving in a circular motion a couple times in each direction. Noticing, again, sensation, lack of sensation, what feels good, how your breath is moving. Now, when you feel complete with that, we're going to bring both knees in towards the chest. You're going to take your strap now, place it on the padded part of both feet. And we're going to start with the legs perpendicular to the floor. And your inhale will be body, shoulders, head on the ground. And then exhale, you're going to lift your head and shoulders up and take your legs towards your body. Exhale. So inhale down, exhale up. And your legs may move, your body may move. It might just be your breath moving. You're going to explore what feels good to you. And if it doesn't feel good to lift your head, you'll keep that head down on the ground. Inhale, body on the ground. Exhale, body up, legs towards the body. 2 more times. I know that's a lot of work. It doesn't look like it should be a lot of work, but it is. Now, after those 2 times, you're going to take that strap off. Bend your knees. We're going to stretch the arms out to the side. Now, 2 options here. You can keep your feet in the air, and then we're going to bring the knees over to the side. Inhale, centered. Exhale, bring your knees over. If that doesn't work for your body, you're going to take your feet to the floor. Inhale, centered, take the knees down. All right, so see which one works for you. We're going to do it a few times with your breath. Inhales when the knees are pointing up towards the sky. Exhale when you turn the knees. And then if it feels good, you can add in turning the head in the opposite direction of the knees. So next time you get yourself from your second side back to the center, we'll carefully bring the feet onto the floor. If they're lifted, make your way over onto your side, and we're going to make our way up onto our hands and knees. How's everybody doing? I just want to make sure because I know it's pretty hot here, even with the fans going. And so make sure that you can breathe and that you're feeling okay. So if you like a blanket under your knees, you can place one there. I think I'll turn this way so I can see more of it. All right, so we're on our hands and knees. Your wrists are slightly in front of your shoulders. Your index fingers are pointing forward. You're going to engage those lower abdominal muscles. And at first, let's stretch out the right leg. You're going to turn the toes under and reach your heel towards the ground. So we're stretching the back of the leg. Pushing away with your hands. And if this bothers anybody's wrists, you can make your way onto your elbows. You're going to bring that knee in, do the second leg. Long, smooth breaths. Nice. On one of your exhales, let's bring that knee in. Now you're going to engage your core muscles. Inhale here with a flat back, tabletop. Exhale down towards child's pose. Move with your breath. Inhale is up. Exhale is down. And we want, like what I'm looking for here for all of you is a nice stretch in your back body as you're exhaling down towards the ground. Okay, next time that we're up in our tabletop position, and remember that you're going to make the position work for your body, right? You're not trying to fit into what I said. So we're going to take the left arm up and the right leg. Your vision will be towards the ground. The foot is flexed. So inhale is going to be here. Or you could have just the arm or leg lifted. Exhale, you're going to take the hand and knee down, come into your child's pose. Inhale, come up and take the second side. Right arm, left leg. So inhale is up, exhale is down. And again, you can choose just to do your arms or your legs, or you can do both. And you're going to move with your breath. And it might take a little bit of time to find your rhythm and your balance. We're going to do one more time on each side. And whenever you're done with that, we'll meet up in a tabletop position. Just take your time, get yourself there. Keep breathing. Now, once you are in your tabletop position, we're going to bring the right leg back. Bend the knee and flex the foot. Now, some of you are going to stay right here and press that foot up towards the ceiling. Some of you are going to take your right hand and reach towards that foot or ankle and stretch it out. And some of you might just reach that arm back so you get a nice stretch. So it's opposite hand, other hand. This hand? Yes. And it may or may not work, right? You might just be reaching the hand back, opening up the shoulder. Don't force anything. Just keep breathing, focus. Now, when you're ready to release, we're going to extend the leg, bring the hand back down, come into our child's pose. Let go of any sort of like frustration or what it's supposed to look like. The most important part is that it doesn't hurt, right? So when you're ready, we'll come back up into a tabletop position. We'll extend the left leg out and take it one step at a time. Bend the knee and flex the foot. Maybe this is where you stay, right? Or maybe you reach back with that right hand and grab the foot. Maybe you just reach the hand back. Keep breathing. Don't force it. Now again, when you start to feel complete, you'll extend the leg, bring the knee down, the hand down, come into our child's pose. You're checking in with your body. How is your body doing in this moment? And I know it makes it extra, special when it's warm in the room. So come on up to our tabletop position. And if you'd like to use blocks when you're in a lunge, you can set your blocks up, because we're going to step our left foot forward and come into a modified lunge. So your right knee is behind your hip, left knee is over the ankle. You're going to stay here for a moment. Send your breath right into the front of that hip flexor. Now, from here, and if your knee hurts on the hard floor, just definitely put a blanket underneath. What I want you to do is bend that back knee and take your heel towards your butt. And for most of us, it's not going to reach, right? You're just reaching it in. You're lifting it, maybe. And we're going to bring it down, turn the toes under, isometrically pull knee and foot towards one another, hands to your thigh, or up towards the sky. Keep breathing. Now we're going to bring the right arm down to the ground or onto a block. Left hand is on the thigh. We're going to turn the belly towards that inner thigh. Switch your hands. I think you have the opposite leg back, and that's why it's okay though. Now you're gonna, on an exhale, turn back towards the floor, take your hands onto the blocks of the ground and straighten out that front leg. And if by chance you're not feeling a stretch, you might need to flex your front foot more. Also, if you drop your hips down to the ground, you'll lose the stretch. Right, so you're gonna keep your hips lifted. And then some of you might start to work your head and your body towards that straight leg. No matter what, you're going to keep breathing. Don't force anything. Nice. Now, I'm going to start to bend that front knee, walk our hands forward. And now we're going to turn the right toes underneath and lift that knee up off the ground. Again, isometrically foot and both towards one another, hands to the thigh or up towards the sky. So right, you're finding that place, comfortable, long, smooth breaths. Now in an exhale, we're going to bring the hands to the ground and step that back foot forward. Make our way into a forward bend, hands onto the legs. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale towards your legs. And we'll do that a few times with your breath. Inhaling up, exhaling back. And the next time that you're in your deep forward bend, we're going to keep the right foot where it is and step back with the left foot. So now you should be on your other leg, right? And then we're going to gently place that knee onto the ground. So you're on your second side. Knee and foot pulling towards one another. Hands onto your thigh. Softening those hips. Maybe reaching up towards the sky. Making sure wherever you are, you can breathe. Sending it forward. Now on an exhale, we're going to bring the hands down to the ground. Left hand is going to stay on the ground of the block, right hand onto your thigh, belly towards that inner thigh. Continuing to breathe, long, smooth breaths. And on an exhale, we're going to turn the body back towards the ground. And then here, you're going to contemplate or lift that back heel up towards your buttocks. And if your knees poking into the ground, please, please put a blanket underneath. Carefully placing that foot on the ground. As you're ready, we're going to walk the hands back, straightening that front leg, flexing the foot, not letting your hips drop down. Keep those hips high. So keep your left thigh perpendicular to the ground. That will help you to get your stretch. And some of you will start to work your head and your body towards that straight leg. No matter what, you're going to keep breathing. Now from here, whenever you're ready, you're gonna bring your body up, start to walk your hands and bend that hands forward, bend that knee. We're gonna turn the back toes under, come up into a high lunge. Again, hands onto your thigh, or up towards the sky. Long, smooth breaths. And in your time, when you're ready, we're going to meet in a forward bend. So as we inhale, exhale, hands come down, foot comes forward. Inhaling halfway up and exhaling into your forward bend. And again, doing this a couple of times. And then when you're ready, inhaling and coming all the way up. Trying to find a spot where I can see you all. Okay, how's everybody doing? So find a tennis ball. We're gonna roll the feet for just a moment. And so as you're doing this, you're rolling around, noticing sensations. It's one of my favorite things to do. But not everybody likes it the very first time. You're still breathing. This is also a great time to evaluate what's happening in your body. And then we're going to switch to the second foot. It also gives us a moment to cool down. You might notice some different things on the second foot. And make sure throughout the practice, especially because of the heat, that you're drinking water, taking care of your needs. All right, so we're going to put that tennis ball off to the side. And let's make your way towards the front of your mat. And feet are going to be about hip width apart. Hands are at your side, and at first, let's just inhale the shoulders up towards your ears and exhale, taking down the back body, moving with your breath. That's good. All right, so feet are about hip width apart, hands are at your side. We're going to inhale up onto the toes, arms extend up, exhale down. Move with your breath. Inhale is up. Exhale is down. One more time. Now I want you to bring one arm forward and one arm back. But you're going to keep your body and your face pointing forward. And then we're going to reach both arms up and then take the arm that was in back forward. Right, we're going to end at shoulder height. Now, if this feels safe and comfortable, you're going to come up onto your toes when you come through the center. Inhale is up, exhale down. Use those core muscles to help you here. And move with the flow of your breath. Whenever you finish your second side, through the center, shake out those arms. Notice how you're feeling. Now, we're going to inhale those arms up, exhale into some level of chair. Feet are going to stay flat. Inhale up, exhale down. Make sure the ankles, knees, and hips bend, and that you're using those, let your butt go. There. That probably sounds funny, people. Letting that go. All right, now, last time. When you come up, you're going to relax those arms, shake them out, roll through your shoulders, connect with your breath. Because now we're going to put those last two moves together, which most of you've done before with me. We're going to inhale the arms up and exhale, add a twist and your high chair position. Inhale up, alternate sides. Your head turns with your body. Long, smooth breaths as you move. Now, next time you finish your second side, when your arms come back up to the center, you'll relax them down at your sides. Take a moment to connect with your breath. You might bring your hands to your heart center and gently rest your thumbs on your breastbone. Now, while we're here, I want you to press the heels of your hands and the fingertips together, but leave a little space with the base of the fingers and the palms. Now, from here, you're going to press into the center of the hands. And obviously, if you need to let your hands go and hold on to a wall or something like that, please do. So weight is going to be in the left foot. You're going to bring up the right knee. Possibly, you're going to extend that leg, bend it, bring it down. Very nice. Weight comes into the left foot, or right foot, left knee, nope. Other side. Knee comes up, extend that leg, bend, bring it down. Now, we're going to have the weight in the left foot come up onto the right toes and pivot through that hip. Right, you're noticing how your whole leg is moving. Now, once that knee is pointed out to the side, we're going to slide the foot into the ankle and possibly lift it up off the floor. And I know some of you are probably used to grabbing your foot and putting it higher, but let's keep it low today, right? Below the knee. You're going to keep breathing. Now, you might take those arms and start to extend them overhead. And some of you, that might not work. You might need to separate your hands. Beautiful. Now, keeping your focus on a spot on the floor, I want you to contemplate lifting your heel. And it may or may not happen. And obviously the heel that's on the floor. And it might lift for a millisecond, it might stay lifted. And next time your heel is on the ground, we're going to carefully bring the hands back to the heart center, knee forward, release those hands and roll through your shoulders. It's very challenging, I know, as even those of you who are used to doing tree pose, when we lift the heel, it adds a whole new dimension, right? So before we move to the second side, let go of judgment. Hands back to the heart center, gentle pressure into the center, coming up onto your left toes and pivoting through the whole leg, the hip, the knee. And with the knee pointing out to the side, you're going to bring that foot into the ankle, possibly someplace to the lower part of the leg. Breathe and focus. Again, the first step might be to take your arms up overhead, breathe and focus. And again, some of you, once you're here and comfortable, might contemplate lifting that heel up off the ground. And Yes, sometimes you lift the heel, the other foot comes disconnected, you bring it back, you start over, you focus, you breathe. Now, when the next time your heel comes down to the ground, hands to the heart center, knee forward, release those arms, roll through your shoulders, shake out your arms a little bit. How did that feel? Pretty good? All right. So from here, what I want you to do is take your arms up towards the sky on an inhale. Exhale, come down into a forward bend. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, in towards your legs. Next inhale, you're going to walk or hop your legs back to some level of plank. You could have your knees on the ground. You're going to hold for a couple of breaths. And then on an exhale, you're going to bend your knees, slide your body back, lengthen the spine and the arms. And there are lots of options for the next piece that I'm going to invite you to do. So one option is to inhale forward to a level of up dog and exhale back. If that doesn't work for you, you could be on your knees. And again, inhale forward into a cobra and exhale into a child's pose. Right, so see if either of those work for you. And as with all of our movements, moving with your breath. Inhale, when we open the chest. Exhale, and we come back into our child's pose. Now, the next time that you're in your child's pose or your down dog, you're going to get yourself into a forward bend. So if you're in child's pose, you'll come up and walk your feet in. If you're in down dog, again, hop or step your feet forward, hands onto your legs, and then inhale, come on, all the way up. I think that we have worked pretty hard today. So now what I want you to do, we're going to come down into a squat. And so you might have a block under your bottom, you might have a rolled blanket under your heels. I want you to be able to weight your heels and toes even. Okay, so whatever, and if coming down to the ground doesn't work, you could come onto a chair. Okay? And actually, I'm thinking you three need to go grab some folding chairs. They're in the closet on the right hand side. All right, so in our squat, your back is rounded. You're going to start to take the chin towards the chest. Your hands could be at your forehead, your heart center, out in front of your body. And at any point, if you need to come out of the squat before I say, you're going to just bring yourself down to a seated position. So very carefully from here, you're going to release your hands and safely get yourself onto your butt. Okay, and we'll start with our feet together, but not right next to your groin, right? And what I want you to do is we're going to keep your left foot on the ground. You're going to hold on to your right foot, ankle, or even the thigh, because what we're going to do is we're going to straighten that leg. Right? So you're just going to straighten and bend, and again, you could be holding on to your thigh, your calf, your ankle, wherever it works for you. No forcing, right? I said that a lot today. Now we're going to relax this leg onto the ground and move to your second leg. So again, bending and straightening, holding on to wherever it works for you, making sure there's no pain and that you can breathe easily as you move. Now, we're going to explore the possibility of having both feet off of the ground. And again, option would be to keep one foot on the floor. And we're going to straighten one leg. And then the other. Now, because we're balancing on our sit bones, if you feel like you're going to fall, you're going to round your back so that you roll like a ball. You're going to make sure there's nothing behind you that you're going to put your head on. And then some of you might want to explore the possibility of extending both legs, finding your balance, breathing. That's good. Okay, and then let's bring those feet in. Who said they wanted to work on legs today? All right, now I want you to have a nice big diamond so your feet are far away from your body. Then we're going to take the hands, are either going to go under your ankles or on top. And as you exhale, you're going to bring your head and your body towards the floor. Nice long stretch through the back body. Now on an inhale, let's bring ourselves out. And what I'd like you to, there are a bunch of different ways that we can set up for the next pose. You might have a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you could have a folded blanket. Then we're going to take the chair. You're going to make sure that all 4 legs of the chair are on your mat. And that's so that it doesn't take off from us. Right? Then the bolster or folded blanket are going to be at the base of the chair. And there aren't necessarily like graceful ways to get into this position, but we're going to do our best, right? So the next thing is you're going to get yourself onto your back body. And you're going to walk yourself up to that folded blanket or bolster, and then put your feet up onto your chair. And hopefully this actually feels fairly comfortable to you, right? So your hips are lifted, your head is resting on the floor and your shoulders. And now you're going to explore and see if you can bring your hands to the front legs of the chair. And it's an exploration. We all have different lengths, right? Arms and legs and things like that. So you're going to see what you can do. Now I'm going to place my feet on the sides of the back of the chair, on the front sides of the back of the chair. I'm going to hold on to my chair and start to lift up my hips, right? And you're going to explore that possibility. If you cannot hold on to the chair, then you're not lifting up. I'm going to pause for a moment. All right, so remember that this is an exploration. It's this, that there. The body closer to there. Now, to here. Now, that hurt? It's just, so the other option is to have your feet on the floor. Okay, now look at your back. Yeah, so let's try to get your feet on the floor. Yeah. Now we can put up. Nope, stay back. Down. There, keep back. You're down and down. There. Okay. All right, so you're moving up and down, and your vision is towards the sky, right? And you're noticing. Now, some of you may want to take that bolster out, right? So that you're just moving with yourself in the chair or the floor. And the option for those of you who might not have a folding chair or who that doesn't feel comfortable on would be to lift your hips up and down off of the bolster. Now, what I want you to do is find a comfortable spot, and it could be with your hips resting on the bolster and your feet on the chair or your feet on the floor. And we're going to stay here for a few breaths. And you're going to notice how your back body is feeling. All right, so from here, you have worked really hard today, so congratulations. From here, I want you to decide how you want to be for Shavasana. And Shavasana's corpse pose or final relaxation. We'll stay there for a few minutes and then we'll come up and do a little bit more movement and breath and a short meditation, just so that you're aware of what's coming up. So what I want you to do now is to find a comfortable way to be for your final relaxation. And if you do have, a chair and a bolster, you might have your legs on the chair and just relax here. You might want to lay flat on the floor. You might want a little support under your knees or under your hips or under your neck. But what I want you to do is to find a comfortable place to be. I don't need to say, make sure you're nice and warm, because that's what's happening here. All right, so comfortable position, long, smooth breaths. As you settle in, inviting your mind and your body to soften with your exhale. You might even imagine any tension, any negative thoughts, any toxins in your body seeping out down into the earth to be transmuted. So I invite you to start to notice how you're feeling in your body, mind, your breath. And when you're ready, starting to make slow, thoughtful movements. And eventually coming up to a seated position. Make sure that you're comfortable. It could be on the chairs that we have here. Your legs can be extended, or you can kneel, or cross-legged. And we're going to do a practice on the energy centers, the chakras, with some sound. And if you've not done anything like this before, I invite you to keep an open mind and explore. And again, we'll use sound, and if it doesn't feel comfortable using the sound, you can listen or make it silently to yourself. And so we'll start focusing, like we did at the very beginning of the practice, breathing in and pulling the breath all the way down through your body to the pelvic floor. So imagining that as you breathe, you can follow your breath in your mind's eye, in your nostrils, down your body, all the way to your pelvic floor, and then from the pelvic floor out of the body. So there is a flow, a natural flow that happens with our prana, our life force, our vital energy. Also with breath, exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide, much is going on. Now we're going to start, and you can place your hands just over your pubic bone if that's comfortable for you. And we're going to say each sound, I'll say a sound, and we'll say it 3 times together. And again, aloud or in your head. And I want you to imagine that you are bringing with your vibration some more life force energy, some more prana. So the hands are near or on the pubic bone. And the sound is Raha. So we'll do that 3 times. Nice big inhale. Raha. 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 Just notice anything that you notice. You might notice nothing, and that's okay. We're going to move our hands just 4 fingers under your navel. And here the sound is herm, like H-E-R-M. So I'll say it once, and then we'll say it 3 times together. Herm. Let's begin now. Herm. Again, notice anything that you notice. Then we'll bring our hands to just to the base of the rib cage or the solar plexus. And here the sound is going to be crown. So listen, first time. Brown. Inhale. Brown. 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 And notice. You might notice sounds that you like, feelings in your body, different images that come to your mind, or sensations or thoughts. And when you're ready, we'll move the hands up over the heart. And here the sound is cream. So again, I will say it once. Cream. Big inhale. Cream. Breathe. Breathe. And then we'll move the hands over the throat after you do your observation. Here, the sound is hum. So listening. Hum. Notice what you notice, and when you are ready, we're going to place one hand on the forehead and one hand on the back of the head. And here, the sound will be crying. So listening. Crying. Inhale. Crying. 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 Notice and relax your arms if you need to. And the final sound, we're going to take our hands and make like a circle with our index finger and our thumb and place them on the top of the head. And the sound will be from. So inhaling. Oh, actually, I guess I'm supposed to say it first. From. Inhale. From. 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 Relaxing your hands and taking the next minute or so to just notice what you feel in your body, if feeling. centers, your chakras, to move to a place that's safe and comfortable for you, because what we did will open them up a little bit, so you might feel a little bit more energized. And of course, if you have any questions when we're done with practice, feel free to ask them. I'm happy to answer any of them. The sounds that we made are Sanskrit sounds that correlate to the energy centers and the colors and the vibration of each of those centers. And there are other sounds associated with them as well. And so I want to thank you all for coming today. It might have ended a little bit differently than what you were expecting. I got on a roll. I don't know what was up, but yeah, so let's close with our hands at our heart and notice how you're feeling. Is it at all how you wanted to feel when you came in and set your intention? And so nice big in breath, and we'll make the sound OM together. Nice, like let your mouth open up. Like, even if you're wearing a mask, like, open it up. So nice big inhale. Om, and then close it. Thank you so much for